Hello, my name is Ash, a counselor in training. This is my Relatable study podcast for individuals who need help studying for their NCE, CPCE, and other related counseling exams. I'm going to go through many questions from multiple resources and make the answers relatable to both you and me. So get your listening ears on and let's get studying. What is a health maintenance organization, HMO? Health maintenance organizations holds contracts to help with health insurance plans and limits coverage from health providers such as doctors and counselors, and shares both the financial risk and delivery risks that are associated with medical services. For example, an HMO can be like a store that offers rewards systems, such as coupons or discounts, so that you save money. And if you do not have that reward system, it is going to be more expensive. An introspective exposure exercise for a client who experiences dyspnea and nausea when they have panic attacks would involve A. Inducing dizziness by spinning, B. In vivo exposures such as standing in the middle of an open field, C. Imagining an open field and vividly recounting the fearful scene, D. Using virtual reality to expose them to fearful scenes. The answer would be inducing dizziness by spinning. The more you do it, your body will become used to it and will reduce the symptoms. For example, when you go on a boat, you have to earn your sea legs because you are not used to being on a moving object in a body of water. And then you would have to come back on land and get your land legs back so that you are standing still on an immovable surface. What is subjective data? Subjective data normally depends on the opinions of the observer or the subject. The observer or the subject usually describes the data verbally or graphically, depending on what they have observed to provide information. Interviews can be used to also gather information, and the researcher will interpret that data input. For example, say you have a group of friends and you are deciding what to have for dinner as a group. Everybody has an opinion on what they want to eat. Many people have the same idea for what they want to eat, while others have different ideas. Gathering this information is the process of data collection, and then interpreting the majority wants to go to this place for dinner. That would be an example of subjective data. The term identity crisis comes from the work of A. Counselors who stress RS involvement issues with clients, B. Erickson, C. Adler, D. Young. It is B. Erickson. It comes from Erickson's stages of development, more specifically, identity versus role confusion. Typically around the adolescent stage, they are still figuring out who they are. Sometimes this leads into young adulthood, where young adults are still in the process of identity versus role confusion, where they're still trying to figure out who they are and what they want to be. I knew from an early age, before adolescence, what I wanted to be, which would be a counselor. As for my other peers, they didn't know who they wanted to be, and they were still figuring it out. What do liability and malpractice insurance provide protection from? Liability insurance provide protections against negligent acts and omissions, whereas malpractice insurance provides protection against injurious conduct done by the counselor where they reach their limits of competency in their professional capacity. An example of liability insurance would be not putting up a wet floor sign when the floors are wet, or not putting salt on the walkways when there's ice outside. Malpractice insurance examples could include incorrect treatment for a client or a misdiagnosis. Typically, counselors must pay for their liability and malpractice insurance so that they are covered, just in case something happens. And that is 5 questions. Thank you for listening. Keep calm and study on.